go anywhere, essentially, and be fine. Like, I got a crash course.
Closer for you, and please have your boarding pass and passport out and available in your hands, please. To expedite the boarding process, we are going to scan your boarding pass today. We are going to have 3 agents to help you boarding, so we can just quickly route here as soon as possible. So please have your boarding pass and passport out and available. If there's anyone like to pre-board or if you need an extra time down the jet bridge, you can pre-board at this time for Paris.
Turning in for the Louvre, we're going to Paris tonight. This is an international flight. When you come to the boarding lane, please have your passports and boarding passes out.
Let's go to Versailles.
In the like mid 80s, I was like, this is perfect. This is what I've been looking for the last month and a half. So where we live, there is a lot of Vikings.
And you get, she never had any.
Sure.
My parents never had any.
Actually, kind of good. I mean, driving, but. Sorry, we might have a lot of those random questions.
Bedroom or bed chamber, you always think of a place where you sleep.
Okay.
Hello from Paris. Apologize for the background noise. You guys have seen a bunch of clips already of our trip, but wanted to read you guys in on what's been going on so far. It is a beautiful, beautiful day. Last summer we were talking about coming to Paris. Brett's always wanted to go. I think I've only been here in like the airport before, so I've also wanted to come, and we were going to try and piggyback on our trip to Iceland, because logic being, oh, well, we're already almost there. But it didn't end up working out for a multitude of reasons, which was fine. And so, being the opportunist that I am, I saw the Beyonce list of where she was going. You guys may have already seen my Chicago vlog. But as a just in case, I also booked tickets for Paris. And after Brett and I looked at it, we're like, we gotta go. Let's just go use this as an excuse to actually book the trip. And so we're gonna be here for a total of 6 days, 7 nights. And you're catching me on day 3. So our first day, we flew out on Monday, which despite being the one that booked the flights and the hotel and the dog sitter and all that stuff, I got all the dates right with the booking, but my brain did not know what day we were flying out. FaceTiming with my parents for Father's Day, and my dad asked, oh, so when do you guys fly out? And I said, oh, Tuesday. Brett's like, try again, Paco. And looked and was like, oh, Monday. Shit. And so we had to, it was a bit of a scramble on Monday as a result. Had to move some meetings, got Scrap off to the dog sitter, rocking and rolling. And our flight was supposed to leave at, I think, like 7:30. And it got delayed, which was fine, gave us more time. Got to the airport. I think we ended up taking off around like 10:30. But Brett is an aviation enthusiast. And so he always tracks like, what type of plane are we getting on? How old is it? Where's it coming from? Have they refabbed it? X, Y, and Z, which I would never even think to check or know if I found that information what to do with it. And so we were tracking to have, I guess, a newer plane that, has all the bells and whistles. He was excited. And then because I think there was an issue with our original plane coming from Paris to Minneapolis, they switched us to another one, which then I could see kind of the disappointment come across his face. And he's like, it's an older one. It's like 38 years old, which is older than I am. Doesn't give you a ton of confidence. And he's like, I don't think it's going to be the most updated plane. I'm like, listen, it's a plane. It's going to get us from Minneapolis to Paris. It was all good. I will say I didn't sleep barely at all. The seats were really not all that comfortable, especially for being in the cabin that we were. But whatever. We got here, landed. Charles de Gaulle, 15 out of 10 with their clearing customs and immigration. It was the fastest and most seamless process I've ever seen of all of the international flights we've taken. Literally from landing to getting our bags and getting through customs and all of that was probably like 35 minutes. Insane. So much so that we actually thought we had accidentally skipped customs, because for any of you who've flown through like major hubs coming in and out of the US, especially like LAX, for example, you feel like you're in a hamster tube. Like they very much block you off and you feel like you're being routed to something to go through customs and all of that. And maybe it's just they have so much international travel here that that's kind of their bulk of their business. But 15 out of 10, whatever you guys are doing, keep it up, because that was an amazing experience. So we got here, and then I booked a car service to pick us up at the airport through Vider, the app. I may have mentioned this in another video, but it's an app that it's kind of like TripAdvisor, but like way better, where they actually link you to vetted companies with, real-time reviews and all that stuff. And my brother-in-law got us onto it a couple years ago, and we use it for booking pretty much everything. But nice guy picked us up in a Mercedes Sprinter van, which they are all over here. I never see them in the States, but picked us up. It was a quick 45-minute drive into the city downtown where we're staying. Funny anecdote, I got a call approximately 8 days before we were supposed to come, saying that the original hotel that we booked could no longer accommodate our reservation, because I guess their grand opening was going to be a day before we got in, which I didn't know. And the city must not have cleared whatever last minute permits or whatever. So that was a bit of a shit show. But we ended up finding a place which is great. Got dropped off, checked in, and because neither of us really slept on the plane, we were both kind of battling the jet lag. And we're just we're going to power through. And so once we kind of got a chance to, shower and get unpacked and everything, we walked around a bit. We're in a perfect location where you're just every turn takes you down a new, interesting street and shopping and all of that. And then the only thing we had booked for the day was a dinner cruise down the Seine. And I would say on the spectrum of people who would do dinner cruises to not doing dinner cruises, we're closer to the not side of that. But I'm it's our first day. We get to see, actually begin to understand the layout of the city. And, of course you get to see all the highlights. And that was actually really nice. I think in certain cities that's kind of a nice way to get another perspective of the skyline, or just to understand the city itself. So that was kind of our first day. We got back and just were exhausted, passed out. On Wednesday, which was our second day, we went and I had booked a all-day tour where they come pick you up and a guide kind of takes you through Versailles, which was amazing. I've seen it in pictures. I've heard a million amazing things about it, but until you're actually standing there and really understanding the scale of how huge this place was, I had definitely not appreciated it the way that it should have been appreciated. Our tour guide, Chris, I believe his name was amazing. We first started going through the palace itself, or I think it's the chateau, where kind of go through. There's a king side and a queen side, and the connecting hallway is the hallway of mirrors, which is one of the most famous things about Versailles. And it was just a madhouse, but it was really nice having that personal guide, because there were so many things that I would have walked past and been cool, or not understood the reason behind why there was a king side, queen side, all that other stuff. And then he took us out to the gardens, got us kind of started, and then he went off probably to get a break from us and to move the van down to where we ended up going for lunch, which was down at the very end of the gardens. So Brett and I just got to kind of meander a bit. Again, just incredibly impressive. And went and found a spot to grab some water and a little bottle of Prosecco, sat down in the gardens for a bit, and then met him for lunch. It was one of the best meals I've had, and it's just this little restaurant at the end of the gardens, but it was that was great, nice and full. And then he took us to what they call the farm of Marie Antoinette. So it's still on the same property as Versailles, but it's maybe like 3-5 miles from the main chateau, where I guess she had her own house. And then she had this little like farm thing, which is I'll point to the clips now, but I guess it was the inspiration for the animations behind Beauty and the Beast, where it's like little, almost like, for lack of a better word, like hobbit houses with like thatched roofs, and it was almost like a little like fairy tale land. Like, oh, I want to escape the life of the big palace and being seen and all this stuff, and I just want to like play around, have my animals, do my own thing. Which, hey, I'm all in. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Nothing like that I think will ever be recreated. It would probably take, like $1 trillion or something to do now, if not more. So after we toured Marie Antoinette's little getaway, the wall was hit. Both Brett and I were struggling to keep our eyes open on the ride back to the hotel. But we got back, and we're toying with, take a nap, don't take a nap. I'm like, no, we're going to power through. We had booked reservations at this restaurant over by where we were originally going to stay, which is like right in the Louvre area, at this restaurant called DAROCO, something like that. It was a recommendation from our friends who come here quite a bit and have good taste, so it was worth following up on their suggestion. Food was amazing. It was kind of a contemporary Italian food. I got a margarita pizza because I am 12, and Brett got something with andouille, some pasta with andouille and some red sauce. And at that point, we'd been walking all day. My Birks were ripping my feet to shreds. And I think it was probably like 8:45-ish. And I'm like, we need to get an Uber. I need to go back to the hotel and chill. And so even though you're only here for a short period of time, and I'm like, I would love to go walk around and see more, I just knew like my limit had been hit. So we went back and we just kind of hung out in the hotel room, and I passed out. Brett worked for a little bit. And then today, which is day 3 or Thursday, June 19th, Juneteenth, in my head before I fell asleep, I'm like, I'm just going to sleep for as long as I need to, because clearly the jet lag and pushing through isn't working. And I woke up at 8:30, Brett's alarm's going off, and I'm like, come on, bro. Hit him on the arm, he went out, and then never turned it back on. So we both slept until like 11:30, which was amazing. I feel like a new human being, refreshed. And so I popped out to go film this, because I haven't actually filmed anything yet, talking to you guys. I'm gonna head back, drop off my laptop, and we'll probably go walk around for a bit. And then we're heading to the Cowboy Carter show tonight, which is going to be awesome. I'm super excited to see it again. And then we've got a full day trip booked tomorrow, which you guys will see. And then we kind of left Friday and Saturday, which are full days, kind of open, of like, let's go explore. We've started to see different pockets in different neighborhoods, but we want to go and actually like spend time and look around and do some shopping and stuff like that. I will say, so far, I absolutely love it here. It reminds me a bit of New York, but cleaner. I could see why people keep coming back, and we may be those people. Who knows? Because there's just way too much to see in one trip. Like, we've covered, maybe a tenth and passively covered it of the city. So, yeah, that is the catch up for now. I will talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye.